Hello and welcome back to the Tim Tom podcast. I
How real my whiskies?
I don't know who invited
Damn it.
that. I am Tim, and I'm joined here by Tom. Don't know if you knew that he's a regular on the show, regular guest.
I'm not a
Um,
guess.
I know.
I'm a co-owner.
Oof. So essentially, what date is it, Tom? What's the
The
date today?
1st of November.
And what does that mean when you say the
Means
first
all bros must go on a annual
an
pilgrimage
epic
through their
journey?
mind.
Oh yeah, wherein
It's going to be
they learn
a
to
test.
levitate.
It's the
It's a
test
test
of
of
the
willpower,
male.
endurance, a test of wills, and a test of faith. And what better a project to have come out at such a trying time than a gospel-oriented Christian rap album from one of the most prolific and famous artists and one of the best
And
artists.
successful.
Yeah. Who has had such Christian lines before, such as, I just fucked this model and she just bleached her asshole. And if I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'm gonna feel like an asshole.
As well as, I just spoke to Jesus. He said, "What up, Jesus? Nothing much, I'm chilling. Trying to stack these millions."
Oh my god, there's so many good lines. And there's some pretty good lines on this one as well. So
Oh, God.
without further ado, Jesus is King. Kanye West,
Came out
2019.
at the bizarre time of about 6 o'clock on the release day instead of the minutes the clock struck 12.
Yep.
But
Good.
they
It was
were fixing the mix.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder what song they were mixing. Do you know what songs they were mixing?
Follow God, Water, and I think On God.
Oh, those are some of like the better tracks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's another new direction for Kanye West. Again, this one more gospel oriented. No premarital sex was allowed in the production of it, and no premarital sex is allowed during any listening of this project.
It's not allowed full stop, remember?
I'm allowed full stop, you know? Stop.
Also,
So
interestingly, no cursing.
yeah,
Not
which I didn't even
even
know.
one swear.
I didn't even notice. I don't mind that at all. I think
I,
it's
I
great.
I know I noticed when I added it to my playlist that it was to my library that it was completely clean. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, to be honest. Um, yeah,
I
so
think it's very mixed.
there have been like kind of gospel oriented tracks that he's done in the past of like Ultralight Beam.
Jesus Walks, Ultralight
Yeah,
Beam, Father Stretch My Hands, 1 and 2.
yeah. um, so it's not a completely new direction for him, but to fully go in like head first like he has on here is new, and that is it's very cool to see. It begins with this very bright abstract segment from the Sunday service choir, which despite being abrupt and I agree with the argument that it is kind of directionless. I appreciate it a lot. I like how
It's
abstract it is, how it just comes in, and then I love the warmth and the brightness of it. It's a poor opener, but I wanted more of it.
yeah, and I just feel that it was so obvious that it was taken from, because the Sunday service things he do, they usually last about 2 hours, and this is obviously like something that has just been clipped from a much larger performance.
Yeah, I want to find the
And it was
performance.
weirdly short. Like, it didn't feel like
It
it came in very well. It didn't leave particularly well, though.
It leaves really poorly and it transitions really badly into Cellar, in my opinion. But
I
I
mean,
really
it's a
when
pretty epic, and it was full on. And it's sort of, if you weren't sure whether this was going to be a gospel album or not, this song that from the jump But yeah, it wasn't synced particularly well into Selah.
No. But I mean, the choir sounds so good with that crazy piano that's going. It's all just like all in the upper ranges. It's so I can hear it now. Like it's lovely to hear. I just want to hear a proper song of it. You know, it doesn't really have a direction. But anyway, Selah or Selah. So besides that poor transition, it is pretty great. It's very bombastic. It's epic. It's truly what like I was expecting. I'm sure it's the same for you from this project. Is like it's the grandiosity of it. The choir, that big percussion is very impressive. You know, it's just transitioned poorly.
Well, I think for me it was the only genuinely gospel rap fusion. A lot of the other ones are just rap songs about Jesus.
Yeah,
But this one had a lot of gospel
I agree with
elements to it. The instrumentals had an organ in it. It was quite scarce, and the choir on the chorus with the hallelujahs and etc. was pretty epic.
It's big. It's very epic.
But this
Epic
is like
definitely
you say, this is what I thought the album was going to be. But then straight after that, we go into Follow God.
Much more of a yay beat, in my opinion. That
Yeah, a lot of bounce to it.
Yeah, very soulful sample and confident delivery from you. It's one of the better
He managed
tracks.
to find another song, another gospel song about stretching your hands to the Lord.
Oh yeah. I mean,
It must be a common bit of imagery, but this was when I was like, okay, this was when I was first listening to it, like, here we go.
Yeah.
And he just didn't stop rapping the whole time. It was pretty good.
It's really cool.
Until he went into that little bit when he was talking about that altercation with his dad that the hook was all about. And then made that noise that he also made at the end of Yikes. I don't know if that's going to become a trademark or something, but it was a bit of a ridiculous end to a good song.
Yeah, I agree completely. It kind of it's not the best ending to it.
It was like, and then we go into the most ridiculous song on the album. But anyway,
song. I hate it so much. I was walking home listening to it. When I heard that hook or that line, you're my Chick-fil-A. I was like, is this for real? Is this for real? Like,
I actually didn't know that it was as on.
Terrible.
Yeah, I didn't realize at the time how bad the reference was. I sort of just thought it was a stupid thing to say, but it ended up being so on the nose as well. And this is the hotbed for the worst lyrics.
Oh,
you're my number one with the lemonade.
Yeah, what the hell? It's what does that even mean? And also the rhyming scheme was boring on it. He just rhymes the following word with the one before it. There's not many different contrasting rhymes which are interwoven. Which is what I kind of expect from a rapper.
There was a lot of stuff about. There was a lot of stuff about sort of like getting the family in the church and looking after them, but then it was shrouded by lots of like terrible attempts at making metaphors and some similes that just did not work.
Yeah,
and the instrumental was boring.
Yeah, it's like Also, when he is rapping, it's kind of tired for the most part. It doesn't sound very energetic or interesting, which contrasts with instrumental. I mean, the instrumental is boring too, but it's just made cringe-inducing with how seriously the instrumental takes itself. At the kind of beat switch that sort of happens, it does get a bit better, but I have too many problems with the track to let that outweigh it. Close on Sunday, stay closed. Don't open. I'm never going to Chick-fil-A. On God takes itself seriously, but it's actually pretty damn good. I love the synths and how big the bass is. There's great presence. And there's that meme line, back when I thought the Book of Job was a job.
The co-production from Pierre Bourne on this one. And it was sort of like his... It had a sort of style, like the beat was insanely synthy and bouncy and the whole like you said, it moved around a lot, and it was very futuristic almost.
Mm, mm, mm. I love
And I
the
liked a lot of
references to
Bible
like,
references as well.
yeah, I like them, and I liked how he was shouting out like guys in the yard as well, like just kind of people who need Jesus, I
And
guess.
single mums.
Yeah, people who need faith. Um, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Then we
And
have
even let Pierre have his watermark.
yeah, which is a lovely, lovely thing. Um, what's the next song called? I've shortened down the
Everything we need.
everything we did. Oh my god, I think it's my favorite track. It's the
Oh, really?
shortest. I swear it's one of the shortest. Like it's another really kind of it has more gospel elements to it than some of the other tracks do. The hook is really fun and catchy. It's so laid back. That short beat is I'm a huge fan of, and the auto tune isn't distracting. I think it complements it.
The only thing I liked about this was Ty Dolla Sign.
I liked everything about this track. Yeah. It's everything I needed.
I had his obligatory feature on it, and he freaking killed the chorus.
Did he?
But I thought yeah, man, it was beautiful, beautiful. But I thought in particular that line about Eve making apple juice with from the forbidden tree was particularly dumb.
I mean, yeah, that is pretty silly. Okay. Water. What are your thoughts on water? Drink the water.
It was interesting because straight from the start, it sounded a bit like sort of had a funky groove like some of the songs at the start of When I Get Home does.
Yeah.
It sounded a lot like Way to the Show, actually.
I was gonna say I get like big When I Get Home vibes from this.
And this was the only song. Well, he did this at the live stream of the Sunday service when he did it for Glastonbury, not Glastonbury, Coachella
Okay.
on Easter Sunday. It was pretty groovy. It had co-production from Labyrinth of all people, who like made Tiny Temper sound good. But again, here the lyrics were terrible.
Like I don't get the like what is it? Water fresh like a newborn daughter, or something like that.
Pure like a newborn daughter.
Yeah, what the heck? What does that even? I don't. I mean, just
yeah, that was the
they're just
line I
looking
pulled
for a
out. It's the
rhyme.
worst one.
They're just looking for a rhyme with water, daughter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty unimaginative in my opinion. Also,
I think it'd been better if he gave this beat to someone else.
Yeah, I really don't like this kind of sound effect of a plane flying in the background. It's in the mix a few times, and I don't understand why it's there. It doesn't contribute anything. It's just distracting. But the gospel singing in it, I mean, it's not that bad a track. It radiates optimism in this nice way. It's just I don't know. It's not the most interesting of tracks. I think that's criticism. God is, on the other hand, is like pretty great in my opinion. It's kind of silly, but it's pretty great. Like it starts off so strong with that beautifully produced gospel sample. It's so soulful. Ye's singing keeps up the sort of wholesome vibe of the track because it is a bit rough around the edges. It kind of feels a bit candid. Um, I'm a big fan of the vibe, and the beat that comes in later is so bouncy. It's what I was expecting from this project, you know. It's and it delivers. I think it's one of the better tracks on here.
This was the only one I had no notes for. I didn't really feel any type of way towards this one.
That's fair enough. Do you have notes on the other one? Because I don't. Hands on
What, hands on?
and that's it.
Pardon?
Yeah, I really didn't get much from this. It's okay. It just seems mediocre. Like, yeah.
I thought the vocal manipulation was very interesting. The minimal beat was interesting. But all the religious stuff he was talking was so on the nose, and I think that is the whole vibe of the project in general. There's not a deep dive
Not
into the
subtle.
Bible at any point, which I guess you wouldn't expect. But if you're gonna make a whole gospel album, you should really give a bit more than what any RE teacher would tell you. That's just my
Well,
opinion.
like,
And he
just-
also sounds like a bit of a hypocrite with those lines about the devil. When he says, "I've been working for you my whole life,"
yeah.
and when I see when I see the devil, it's on sight. Talking about how he's gonna fight the devil if he sees him.
Yeah, of course. Oh,
That's
what
how
you
he
can-
feels.
I mean,
But
yeah, what you're talking about with everything being so on the nose, what he should have done is just explored his own experiences with it. Like, how has Christianity come into his life? How has it affected him? There's something we can only get from him, you know? Because I can just open a book. I can open the Bible.
they were very little, considering he was inspired to do this by his daughter saying that she feels a bit lost whenever they don't go to church for the week. There were like next to no personal
No.
things about this as well, and he's been going to church his whole life apparently. So you figure he'd have a few observations or stories, but it wouldn't appear so.
Strange.
And
It's very
but yeah,
strange.
I like the instrumental bit, but it is
Mhm.
a bit
Yeah.
sparse, really.
Yep. And then we have used this gospel.
Which I was a enormous fan of.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yo, didn't you think Clips sounds like Pusha T?
Well, Tom, there
I
was
love.
an uncanny similarity.
Yeah, I love how this track builds over time. The auto-tune
Yes.
singing complements it really nicely.
So it
It's
starts off
so
with him just
unique.
humming the melody. It starts off with Kanye just humming the melody as it is.
Mm,
Then it gets all the reverb and the effects on it.
yep.
And then Kanye does his thing, and Pusha T
Clips, I think
tells his interesting story. But
they
it's
give
really
clips as well.
when his brother No Malice, who was
Mm.
an interesting pick for this, if no reason other than the fact that he, since the Clips stopped being a thing, became a
Yeah, I was gonna
Christian
say that.
rapper.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. But I mean, it's like, Clips haven't done anything like together for a while.
No, and so I think this was probably the perfect time, to be honest, on a Christian album which Pusha T was already had a lot of writing credits on.
With which I mean, and they've collaborated before in the past and made some great stuff. Yeah, this is
And
a
I
track
like
that always
but when
comes to mind. You know, like I really love the multiple voices that then come in with the melody, and
that gave me goosebumps.
yeah, it's great. And then there's that sax solo, which is to die for. You know, it's so
Kenny
sexy.
G, man, he came through.
It's mad.
I just like the
Honestly.
whole redemption arc in the No
Mhm.
Malice verse that starts off with him talking about drug dealing, although he still kept it clean. He, instead of saying coke, he said a white person's name. I think it was Barry Manilow. Yeah, it was.
Huh.
There's a little reference there, but then he went on to how he's changed his life. In particular, the funny line where he said, "They give you Rafe talk, I give you faith talk." And I love the bit where he had the epic sax solo, but then the beat comes back in with these. But this time it has drums on it.
It's great.
Which,
It's just
was
it's
brought
too
by
short.
Timbaland.
That.
And it was man. I think Too Short could also be said of the final song, Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, it's such a grand closer. It's just what the project like called for. It is criminally short though. It's less than a minute. I'm pretty sure. It just feels
It's got
like
these lovely horns. It's got all this.
yeah.
It's probably the only time that he genuinely gives an opinion or like his own point of view on the whole religious
Yeah.
experience, and it doesn't even reach the 50-second mark.
It's like I don't know. It seems like it's unfinished. Like maybe loads of it was just cropped out. Like that should have been like 5 minutes. It could have been 5 minutes of instrumentation, you know, and bring the choir back, close it all off. Falls
I think
flat.
the choir wasn't used enough. And
No.
you know that clip that went viral of like one of the early Sunday services where he was in Africa and he's like on the keyboard and that choir and everything's going crazy. Where was that? That sounded amazing. Why wasn't that on this album?
Yeah.
Ugh. I think I'm left a bit underwhelmed. I mean, I was
Me
not like
too.
lots of people for some reason were expecting a classic album here. I wasn't really because I didn't think Ye was particularly amazing.
No, me neither.
And I think in the end, what this shows to me is he still comes up with great ideas. But the
Yeah.
thing that shocked me is I'd listened to it 2 or 3 times and I checked the credits and like every song has like 3 or 4 extra writers and yet this thing feels so badly written. It's the shortfall on the vast majority of the songs.
Yeah. It's
And for me,
underwhelming.
they probably
Yeah, it just sums it up so well.
And for me, they probably only
Well,
get it right on 3 songs, maybe 4.
yeah.
Everything else is like good ideas, but either the lyrics are bad or the
But I mean, maybe that's
instrumental's
why
not
it's so
great.
short. I think it was made very quickly, and it's
It's been
as
delayed by over a month. It feels very rushed, doesn't it?
yeah, it feels very rushed, and but I mean, it marks like a new direction. I think Kanye should do more stuff like this, but like, and there could be another classic album in this. I think there's another classic album in this kind of in this direction, and I think it's not too far away. I think it but it is strange how he's still doing these just very short projects. They're like they're barely LPs, you know?
Hmm.
It's very strange.
I feel very similarly about Yeezus to how I feel about this. But there's obviously good ideas here, and he's
Yeah.
experimenting, and it's some of the songs sound really good, but they just I don't know, they're not fleshed out enough.
But I mean that's the point of experimentation though. But then again, why make an LP to experiment? Just do a single or an EP, you know? He could have
Hmm.
dropped some of these as singles and kind of got a consensus on what worked, what doesn't work. That makes sense. Oh well.
Or do another rap camp. Get the conception from other artists rather than people that will just like yes men that will agree with whatever you say.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's a 6 for me.
I think it's a 6 for me too.
Like,
Yeah.
Use This Gospel will probably still give me goosebumps if I listen to it right now. Just when the
Yeah.
whole choir come in and the sax and everything. And even the humming is so catchy. But there's a lot of songs I'd happily never hear again, namely On God and Close on Sunday.
Oh, Close on Sunday. If I ever have to listen to that song again, I'm gonna like convert. I'm gonna convert to Satanism.
And I think on that we best move on.
Yeah. Two, DHL, Frank Ocean, single. Was this the one that was played in his club? Or one of them?
No, he played 2 dance remixes of songs, and then he
Ah,
never like released them onto any streaming services or anything.
what a
But
pity.
but he released them on record, so I bought them both, and
Oh,
they're on their way.
that's great. I want to
So
hear them.
I will let y'all know how they sound when they come.
Yeah.
But until then, But then he played his radio show a couple of days after his club opened, as you already mentioned. And then at the very end, it premiered this here song.
It's very spacey. It has obviously great production. I think the word which comes to mind with this track is like nocturnal. It seems very kind of dark, but not in a negative. Not that it is a negative anyway. It just seems like I don't know. Just the imagery it conjures up is all like it's night. That
Just
sort of
the
stuff.
pacing of the pace the song goes at for the most part. It all feels a bit like Earl's second album was I Don't Like Shit.
Yeah.
Like he rapped and did a lot of stuff at this sort of pace.
Mm.
And it was interesting. I liked the beat switch. I thought the song definitely livened up in the second half.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's long though. Like I don't know. It kind of feels its length. I'm not trying to. I know it might be preposterous or blasphemous to have a complaint about our boy Frank, but I mean, it does feel its length. You know.
No, I
Just-
agree. I feel a little bit lukewarm to some of the bits, but like it is essentially, it's named after getting well, he said it was about packages, and he just likes receiving things. But it's, I mean, you listen to the lyrics. It's obviously just about getting pills in the mail. That's
Oh,
that's obvious, Frank. You don't need to kid us.
God.
And I don't know. I like it, but it's not a like a top 5 Frank song or anything like that.
Oh no. No, I don't think it's got much staying power. I think it's
But I
gonna
think it's a
down.
sign of maybe a slightly more interesting direction.
Yeah, more kind of laid back, spacey one. And I don't know, like Blonde. I don't really know what genre I would put it into. It always just, although whenever I think of it, I'm reminded of all the interludes, and it just reminds me of like an indie movie. um, yeah, but
Maybe
it's
indie is the genre.
indie R&B maybe. I'm not sure. Let's talk about something a bit more straightforward. Häagen-Dazs, Ghetto
Or
Sage.
Hajanaz, as Smino pronounces it.
It's yo, the way I describe it is this crisp production. It's very cool. It feels kind of cold, not in a negative way. I love the beat. It reminds me of something like it. It reminds me of Ghostface Killers, from Without Warning. How kind of smoky and cold all of those beats were. That's what it reminds me of, big time. Do you get that similar kind of vibe on there?
Yeah, I think it's quite inspired by the Metro Boomin sort of production. We've got to mention the artists involved. New
Okay.
Chicago-based supergroup, Ghetto Sage, Smino, Saba, and No Name,
Mm-hmm.
rapping about ice cream.
Not No Name, no. She's rapping about Black Lives Matter. Uh,
She also raps about eating Ben and Jerry's at one point. So
oh, okay. No, fair enough. Yeah, I thought it was really. I forgot that it was the supergroup, so I was like, "Who are these people?" And then I heard No Name, and I was like, "What?" And it wasn't just hearing No Name; it's hearing No Name rap these pretty like, uh, I don't know, they're not gangster bars, but like it's definitely more sort of rough than what she normally raps about, you know?
well,
Especially compared.
it's far from, what
Like,
was her debut called? It's far from that
yeah,
album.
exactly. It eludes me as well, but I mean, you know how like playful and almost like childlike and nostalgic all of those instrumentals were, and how I mean, she has these really like funny lines and funky rhythms that she uses. And on here, it's just I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just interesting to hear that contrasted with that, because when I think of No Name, I imagine her first album. I don't think of this. So it's a genuinely interesting turn of direction.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting to see what happens in the medium term. See if we get any, like a full project maybe, or even just another single. Be cool.
Yeah, I'd like another single.
But it was weird because No Name just kept randomly posting pictures of the three of them in like parks and stuff. And then one of the captions was like, "Do you think we should make more music?" Because I think apart from on her last album, there was that one song that had all three of them on there. But other than that, they hadn't really done anything together.
Mm.
And now here we are. So,
It's cool. And from one interesting artist to the next. Well, I guess a group of artists, but we'll move on. Booba Savage. Collaboration
Kenny.
with Kenny Beats. Fan of the show. He is.
He liked to tweet. What more proof do you need?
Exactly. That means he listened to it, and that means he liked it, and that means he listens to every episode. So yeah, it's really fun beat. I mean, one thing I was thinking, I don't want to rain on the parade. It's just I know Kenny Beats production. Like I don't even need the watermark. I just know it when I hear it. All those fat basses. And I don't know, like I'd like to hear him do something which isn't that once. Like I don't know, I don't know if he's ever done anything kind of jazz oriented.
He used to be in an electronic dance duo, I think. I haven't listened to what he's did, but he actually produced a reggaeton song literally yesterday.
Oh god, no.
And it's pretty decent. But yeah,
Okay.
so if you want him to do something different,
Yeah,
that might be something to check out. Also, the Dominic Fike song we reviewed a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, the horns on
yeah,
here.
no, yeah, that Dominic Fike song was great that you did. This song is very interesting. Like, the artist is very interesting. He's only 12 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, and he well, I tried to find out where he was from because the description I found just said African, but I couldn't find that out, unfortunately.
Mm.
From the country of Africa.
Yeah, the country of Africa. Yeah, like he's spitting bar after bar on this, and I mean,
I want to know if he wrote it or not.
Cringe. It's good.
I don't know. I watched it the first time with the video, and I just couldn't take it seriously when I found out that he was this young little boy rapping about all these hoes wanting him because he's getting money now.
Yeah.
I just want to know if he wrote it or not.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Like, it kind of makes sense as a ghostwriter, but if he's a ghostwriter, then he just seems like a puppet. A bit.
Maybe he had help, but didn't write it all, but didn't write none of it. I don't know. And also, I hope I'm just hanging out in the studio.
Corporate ghostwriter, like in a suit with this little kid telling him, "Okay, now you gotta rap about how much money you got and all the hoes." That'd be pretty funny.
He cursed a lot for a 12-year-old. I hope his mum.
Yes, he did, and it shocked me after what a wholesome time I had with Jesus is King. Bust It Down. It's okay. It's pretty cool. It's good to hear Kenny.
I thought the horns were pretty epic.
The instrumental doesn't stick in my mind that much, if I'm being perfectly honest. The next track, if it's all right to move on, is definitely has a lot more presence in my mind. Yeah.
More than Booba.
Yeah, more than Booba. Tame Impala. It might be time. I think it's time. Talk about it might be time. I'll be here.
Alright then, let's move it on.
Okie dokie.
You sound like that common flow that you hate so much.
It's great. It's anthemic, I feel. It's experimental. I love how the vocals move around this track. I really love the lyrics. It's all kind of... It's not... Nihilistic isn't the right word. It's kind of indie, existential dread sad boy. But indie. So it's not too sad. It's the happy sad boy kind of genre, I think.
So Mac DeMarco on a bad day.
Yeah. Like early Mac DeMarco, definitely. But more kind of bombastic and no, not experimental, but more bombastic.
More groovy.
Yeah, not necessarily more groovy. I don't know if that's synonymous with like bombasticity.
But this song's very groovy.
It is very groovy though, yeah. But in a different way. Like, I mean, I love that chord progression though. And then, I mean, I love the different directions the track goes in. There's like, it stops for a bit, like for a bar. No, not I don't know, it stops for like a bit of time and then picks back up. There's like guitars in it. It just keeps building and building and building. And I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of Tame Impala, always have been. And this sounds like the next step on from Currents, but with reincorporation of some of his like Kevin Park's more psychedelic stuff. Because Currents didn't strike me as that much of a psychedelic rock album. It was more of an like indie kind of album. Resist is kind of indie and psychedelic, which is a nice it's a nice mix. Do you agree?
Although the lyrics sound like he's thinking about giving up.
No,
Because
I
he's
think
not as young as he used to be, not as cool as he used to be, not as hip as he used to be. So I don't know.
yeah, I get that. I get that.
But I
It's,
guess you're definitely going to keep going until your excitement dips. And from all the reaction I've seen to this album being announced, it's pretty good. The only
when's
thing
it?
really,
Yeah.
that's what I was
We'll
going to say. The only downside, it's not until February next year.
At least he's giving himself time though.
Well,
But
my feeling is if you got a defined release date and you got the album cover and the name already, the
yeah.
songs are probably mostly, if not all, done.
Then that means it's taking time to like touch up
press
the
run.
mix, you know?
Go on a
Because
press
he
run.
like, sorry.
Go on a press run.
Yeah. Well, there's that, and also, I mean, there's time. If you listen to his tracks, they're all like very dense. So it's time to just make sure that like it's all good. He's a man who who's a big fan of his music. He's not gonna rush it, which is very cool. I just hope it is this new, more psychedelic direction rather than another Currents version 2. Because Currents was a good album, but it just didn't speak to me in the same way that Lonerism speaks to me. You know. And I think that's us. That's us closed. That's
I
us.
think I need to listen to both of the albums.
Yeah, Lonerism I highly recommend. I really love it. It's messy, but it's great. Okay.
Yeah, I need a pee, so peace out.
Peace out. I've been Tim, been joined here by Tom. Go to church and drink water.